loan officer assistants, loan partners, production partners, processors, coordinators, anybody who is in a support role for a mortgage originator or for a mortgage origination team, this is a message for you. I've been talking to that group a lot lately. We have been hyper-focused on how artificial intelligence and technology is going to maneuver through the mortgage industry. And just be honest, as we looked at the opportunity to use the technology on the Better Mortgage platform, when we initially showed the demo to our team, the originators got incredibly excited because they saw the functionality, the efficiency, the scalability, but the production and support teams were frightened, and rightfully so. I saw a post the other day on LinkedIn from a young lady who says, look, I was hired in October and I was let go in January. October 2024, let go in January 2025. And it was because rates were low in September of 2024 and refinances were picking up and business was picking up. But then over the next 3 months, interest rates went back the other direction. And that's what the mortgage industry is forced to do. It's forced to hire and fire. Typically, support staff members can help a certain range of people, right? So if you're a processor, maybe you can, depending upon the depth of your role as a processor, I know that's a big range, maybe you can help 10 to 15 families a month. If you don't do a lot of client communication, maybe you can help 25, 30 families a month or more. What we're seeing with advancements in technology and the race to lower the cost to fulfill a loan is that a lot of the jobs that processors used to do, a lot of the jobs that loan coordinators or production partners or even people who are more on the front end in sales support, those jobs are going to become less and less necessary, but they will become more and more important. And that's a really key understanding here, is that no mortgage company should ever say they don't need a certain role, right? But what they need out of that role will change and it will evolve. So if you are working in a mortgage company currently, if you're a support team member, and you know that your bandwidth is anywhere from, I'm just gonna make up some numbers, 15 to 30 families that you can help or serve per month, that is a scary thing. And that's something that you want to be very aware of. There's no chance that my business would have been as successful as it was. There's no chance that our current teams would be successful as they are today if we didn't have our production support teammates. So obviously everyone in that role is near and dear to my heart. I can rattle off a ton of names of people that were largely responsible for us being one of the top 25 teams in the country, and they're just as, if not more talented than I was. My message to this group, to the support groups, to the processors, to the loan coordinators, the production partners, the LOAs, the LPs, there's different names, but oftentimes they do a lot of the same roles, is that you need to work with an organization that is hyper-focused on technological advancement. Now, that might seem like a counterintuitive statement. And when we joined Better and we started using their technology, we actually had people that said, I'm not going to go there because I feel like my job will be lost, which is the complete wrong sentiment to have, right? It's like saying, I know that cars are ultimately going to replace horses, but I'm just going to stay on my horse because it's more comfortable. What you need to be doing is, if you really love this profession, if you want another 10 to 20 years of making an impact in people's lives, of earning a great living, of supporting your family as a support team member, and this even extends to underwriters and closers and funders, is that you want to work with an organization that expands your scale, right? So maybe your low end is now you can help 20 families as opposed to it used to be 10, but your top end is you can help 100, right? And what that does is it creates a lot of job security, because typically if your range was 15 to 30, that means that as soon as you start getting to 31, 32, they have to hire another version of you because you can only handle so many files, right? And then they hire that person, and then all of a sudden when business drops and there's not enough production again, now they look at everybody that they've hired. And they don't always do layoffs based on seniority. Sometimes it's just based upon who's better. And if you're in that range where you max out at 30, but then let's say everyone gets really slow and now you're only helping 5 to 10 families a month, right? Then you're also at risk. So as a support person, what you want to do is you want to expand your scale, and you want to say, okay, as a processor, as a loan coordinator, whatever my role is, I want to be able to help up to 100 or 150 or maybe 200 families a month. And yes, I'm going to do maybe 80 to 90% less of what I used to do, But the 10 to 20% of the things that I am doing now are massively impactful. They're things that technology can't solve, right? They're needle moving conversations. They are emotionally connecting conversations. They generate referrals. They generate opportunities. They're revenue growers. And as you do that, if you can do just the 10 to 20% of your current role and you can get really great at it, but now you can help 20 to 150 or 200 families a month, think about that range. There are going to be months when rates drop that you might help 150 families in a month, but doing very specific, unique work that is massively important. It creates a deeper relationship and connection with the client. It creates more stickiness and opportunity with the client, their family, their friends, their job, their employer. Like, you have that impact on 150 families. Then all of a sudden, if rates go up and the business slows down again, you could drop back down to 50 and still be incredibly important and necessary for the organization. But that's the elasticity that an organization needs to have. And for my entire career, I've been in the mortgage business for 20 years now. I've never seen that. This is the first time in my career that I've actually seen the opportunity for elasticity at this level, where we don't need processors anymore. So we are able to take the processors, who are incredibly talented, amazing human beings, and we were able to move them to a more impactful role where they're doing a different job, but it's incredibly important and they get to use their skill set the same exact way. And now those people can, as opposed to getting tapped out at 20 to 30, now they can help hundreds of families a month because they do really important work that makes a significant difference. This is a long way of me saying, if you're in a support role, if you're not a mortgage originator, if you're not actively giving clients advice and originating mortgages and doing business development, that means that technology and AI and the enhancement of efficiency of technology, it will impact your job. It's not a matter of if, it's just when. And 6 months ago, 8 months ago, if you would have asked me about mortgage technology, I would have dismissed it because I had never really seen that great of mortgage technology. But now that we know what's actually happening, what's capable, how our AI assistants can do a huge portion of this job, we've had to rethink the entire thing. And what it's done is it has created additional job security for our teams. Because if all of a sudden rates drop 1%, we don't need to hire anyone else, right? Our team can handle all that extra capacity. So what does it do? It not only gives them job security and safety, but it gives them an enhanced runway for earnings, right? They can earn a lot more because they can help a lot more families. And they can go all the way up as business grows, and they can come back down as business becomes more challenged. So if you're on a team, if you support an originator, if you currently have a great mortgage advisor that you work with, please go to them and say, hey, what are we doing about the coming wave of automation, of AI, of technology, essentially taking a lot of the roles of support people off of the plate of somebody that would do that job like myself. And if they don't have an answer, help them, help encourage them to find one. Because if we're still using the same antiquated systems, right? If we're still waiting for the spinning wheel of death on our files, if we can still only work in one file at a time, if we have to wait for someone to get out of a file before we can get into it, if we are not using automation to calculate income and assets and credit, if we are still making phone calls to follow up and chase conditions and update clients, all those things are automated now. They all can happen with technology. And so I would encourage you, think about the things that you do in your role that are most impactful, that move the needle the most in the client's life, in the life of the business, right? Like, how is the business being impacted from it positively? And just say, look, if automation can take 80 to 90% of the things that I do today off of my plate, where should I look to get really great where that 10 to 20% is necessary? We're living the future right now. Right? This is not a when this shows up type thing. This is coming, and in the next 3 months and 6 months, I think the industries are going to start to feel it even more. To all of my support teammates out there that do absolutely incredible work, many of you are the reason why your mortgage teammates and why your team leaders are so successful. Don't let yourself be completely disrupted by something that you didn't see coming. Make sure that the mortgage professional you work with knows everything that's happening today, but most importantly, what's happening tomorrow. Because it's the mortgage leader's job to create safety, security, and a vision for the future for the entire team, not to just wait till it shows up and realize that team may not be necessary or they may be somewhat obsolete. So if you have any questions about this, please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help and explain why I believe what I believe, help you better understand, what's not only coming, but what is here today. I think that most people just don't know what's possible. And that's a problem that we all need to work together to solve. So thank you for watching this. If you have any questions, let me know and reach out if I can help with anything. Thanks a lot.